Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. Today I have come with the good news. And this news are related to absolutely unbelievable situation that have taken place in the universe. And this is very important for all of us on inhabitants of the planet Earth, our planet. Why? Because as I told you before in my previous videos, that this planet has been occupied by cult rather, or group of the characters who have taken up the power into their hands and try to control the situation in our on our Earth. So, for thousands of years, approximately, roughly, according to rough estimate, about 4-5 thousand years, they've been bringing into the minds of people, into the lives of people, control, manipulations, into political systems, into economic systems, into the common life, where there was, as we know from our history, that there was feudal or slavery or any other form of socialism, including any other form of taking people's taking over people with their control. Yeah? So it was this situation where kind of life where people had to belong to somebody because they had influence. They had their systems, the systems of control and manipulation, where people did not have freedom for to express their opinion, freedom of word, freedom of action. They had to do whatever they said them to do, be it educational system, for example, be it economic system where some countries are poor, some people are poor, but just a handful of people are rich. So this kind of system, or for example, if you're looking to the political systems of the world today, lots of prisoners sitting in prison are not prisoners at all. They are not criminals at all, but they've been put by the system. So when we're talking about today's cruel life on Earth, it is all related to the systems that have been introduced by archons. Archons are the creatures that have been also, I think that I spoke about them earlier in one of my videos. These creatures have that kind of design temperament of kind of taking power, taking control, and um, feel themselves as, because they are narcissistic, they have narcissistic trends, and that's why they had to feel themselves strong, powerful, as if they are gods. That's why they call themselves gods. They've been copying everything what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was doing, and they try to do that, but because they don't have enough intellect, they don't have morality at all, absolutely zero morality. That's why they had to. They introduced to people this kind of system. But why did it happen? Right? Because most of you may ask this question: why did it happen? How Allah Ta'ala allowed this to happen? I know many people would ask this question, but actually, when Allah Subhanahu wa Taala had created us, He in our spirits were full of His nur, because He said that I'm creating you as free human being for love, for prosperity. Go and love each other. Go and live in peace with each other. This planet is for you. Be happy and say thank you to me. Be appreciative. Be kind to each other. That's all that He wanted us to do. But somehow people forgot about all that, forgot about promises, because when, as you know, when spirits, the souls were created, the souls also gave word that they all that yes, we will serve you. But somehow, when life started, this material world took away lots of people, most of the people, from their straight path, and that's how they started to serve not even shaitan, because shaitan over here, Iblis, he is not the main figure over here, okay? Because these are pawns. There are demiurgs also, they're called demiurgs. They've been mainly six of them, but they established a cult, established such group where there were some other very dark kind of creatures have been included, and they've been also using Iblis and his team to manipulate people and control situation, and also, of course, take complete power over human beings, over planet. And that's how they introduced this political systems, economic systems, common systems, social systems, where there is no justice, no truth, no adil, there are no adal, nothing what is coming from morality. There is nothing like that because they don't understand that. They are absolutely empty as far as morality and ethics are concerned. They have no clue about that. Okay, so they unfortunately they completely, from century to century, they've been completely destroying community, because you see they've been buying people. There were and there are still people who are easily bought and sold. That's how it happened, and because of such people on our earth planet unfortunately are in existence. That's why they've been using them for their power, for through them they've been controlling it, and still it is happening. And many countries today in the world are still run by such creatures. And by the way, in countries like Central African Republic or Haiti, as you know, in Haiti there is no even prime minister at all. But in countries like that, there are today mainly this kind of groups, like terroristic groups or oligarchs somewhere, or some other groups of people are controlling virtually those governments. That is why, I mean, as I can say to you very clearly, that this is one of the examples of how these archons have taken control over the planet. So they've been controlling us, and moreover, as we talk about all sorts of destitution, prostitution, or any kind of games of fortune or something like that, anything that destroys human morality, destroys human being, and that our religious background, where not even religious but rather iman, clear heart, clear pure heart kind of attitude, they have been destroyed by their input, because they've been constantly doing it, because they've been rather in competition with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that I gave them freedom of choice, but they followed you. Okay, let's see how far it will happen, how far it will go. But in any case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always been throughout all this time, and still now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always with those who are sincerely believing in Him, loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He is always supporting those people, and He never left them alone, never left them along with the problems that they've been facing and still facing. So what happened today? What kind of news did I come with to you? The main news, and this is actually one of the most important news of, I would say, of the century, or of the last that many centuries, that finally the higher powers, finally Nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and people who have been supporting this kind of movement, as I explained to you in previous videos, that we've chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we've been doing this work, a group of people on earth, so that many people, thousands of people who've been helping to open up all the darkness that they brought, because they brought not only the systems, they also introduced how people can be easily not only manipulated, but even how their nature can be changed, how their characters can be changed. So around us today, we see so many hypocrites, liars, so many people who have all sorts of egoistics, or all sorts of like double standards, bad characters that have been also introduced through these people on earth who've been constantly doing it through certain programs, even through educational programs. Some of the institutions have been doing that, and through media, of course, through music, cinema, all sorts of ways they use to change people's mind, to take them away from the right path. So they've been doing it constantly, and they've been hoping that they will finally enslave human beings and take up this planet, and forever, eternally will have control over our planet and us and our children and our future generations. But thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thanks to high powers that have taken up this case, and in fact it was previously already been described that it will happen on earth, that it will happen. People will give up their faith and will follow these creatures. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since He created earth, created us, of course, He has said that enough is enough and time has come to clear up this mess. And now what happened is that during last 3.5, 4 years, I've been personally involved in this kind of fights with them. And I've been directly, I've been not only directly involved, but I was even somehow gone into epicenter of this events. So I've been watching how it is going on, and not only watching, but I was fighting against them. There was quite a resistance going on from my side, against these creatures, so that these dark forces will finally give up and leave our planet, leave our minds, give us freedom, let us give us finally this opportunity to breathe, feel free, feel happy, live according to our own will, with our iman, with our morality, with our ethics, with our community. We should decide ourselves how we should live. We wouldn't like anybody else, no political systems, no any other systems, whatever they have created over here, where they just say that no, unless you are rich, you're nobody. For example, that kind of mentality, we have to be free from that kind of mentality. Or for example, somebody says, no, you have to go to America and only then you will be happy. That is another kind of stupid mentality that they've been bringing. So like that, they've been actually corroding our mind and taking away all that our brilliant values that Islam initially brought into us. In fact, they brought also some corrosion into religions. That's why Christianity is so far from Islam, for example, or Judaism is also that far. Judaism is completely, unfortunately, in mess right now. It's so many things that they brought. At least Islam, more or less. I mean, there are some errors also, but at least in general, the faith itself, Iman itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved it with Quran, with Holy Quran. So I'm always saying that thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Iman given by through Islam is the purest one. So we have to remember one thing, that yes, by today we won. Of course, we've got this. Finally, we got rid of them. Okay, they've been giving so much of. They've been giving attacks every day, and every day many times. They would take away my, for example, sleeping. I can't sleep. For example, I would sleep just 1 or 2 hours, and every day like that, 1 or 2 hours. They've been scrutinizing my life. They've been taking my energy away. They've been taking my money, taking my job, taking my friends away. It was completely different life that they've been. They have brought me in. And every time I know that I could have lost everything. And in fact, they've been doing also black magic, and they've been trying to kill me as well. They created hell with my children, and they've been also bringing discomfort into their life as much. And so I would like to say is that in every situation that I've been facing, every kind of conflict, whatever I had to resist, I have always been first of all, of course, approaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was every day that I had to speak about it. I knew that it's not only if I'm chosen one, that it means I have to act, I have to show my strength. I don't have to only rely on the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. I have to also rely on myself. First of all, I have to rely on myself, correct? Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always taught us, first of all, you have to take care of your business, your matters, before you approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before you ask Him for help. That is why, of course, I knew that there is responsibility on my shoulders as well. And what I understood when I was facing them, in fact, I faced Iblis as well. So, in fact, Iblis happened to be much better creature than these people, because these people are absolutely, they have zero respect, zero morality, zero any kind of understanding of, although they are very well organized, they themselves, they're very well organized. They have like structural kind of mind thinking. They even writing notes for themselves about the psyche of people. They study people, analyze people. They have their own things. But the what I would like to say is that because jinns are also created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's why, of course, still they are more respectful than others. But of course, I'm far away from saying that shaitans are good, not at all. But I'm giving you as an example that these creatures are even worse, so that you will know that there are even worse creatures who have been taking power of our land, of our country, of our earth, planet Earth, and our minds and our hearts, most of the people. That is why I was also thinking that I have to, I have to always remain. First of all, I have to trust in myself. I have to trust in my principles of morality, of ethics, of virtue, and of course, I have to be, remember, but standards and principles of virtue as well, and have to be. I had to be always remaining kind, no matter how bad situation is happening, how many bad situations are happening every day to me, or whatever trouble I have with my health. They brought so much of health issues to me also, and whatever I had to go through, I had to live with it, and I had to, with all that, I had to continue my life with my head up every day, every morning, wake up, go and do my own things, and smile to others, and continue to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say him thank you for everything that he does, because he's been supporting. If not his help, and if not help of angels, and um, as well as other archangels who have been always around me, always supporting me, I'm sure that I would have probably disappeared by now. Because in fact there are situations, I don't want to talk about it right now, it's absolutely different subject right now, but there are now unfortunately people who have been disappearing because of those creatures, from planet Earth. They've been taking them, and they've been doing all sorts of experiments and laboratory analysis with those people in some other planets. So anyhow, this is a separate subject, but these are really very dangerous and cruel creatures that thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, we are now free from them, because ultimately what happened is that I've been fighting with them through my principles, because I understood that unless I use my principles, because I've been brought up in the way that I can't lie, for example, or I can't ignore justice. I have to be, whatever situation is, I can't give up myself. I can't give up my principles. And whatever situations were in my life, I have always been very strong with my principles. And I understood that this is my key to success. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put into me, my strength, my principles, my faith, my love to myself, love to people, of course, people, everybody on earth with no difference in color, faith, or their religion, or whatever. I never differentiate. I always respect and love, because these are all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing with me. So he's been preparing me as a chosen one for many years, from childhood, actually, it was happening. So what happened is that ultimately I understood that this is my weapon. Before I even asked for help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I had to use my weapon. And my weapon was my language to them, because they understand all the languages. They understand energy of language. And they even write it. They even write whatever I say. And I saw them. They've been communicating, of course, on an energetical level, by intuition. I've been seeing them and communicating with them. And I understood that whenever I'm like not, I'm not giving myself up to them. For example, I'm not selling myself. I told them that you can bring mountains of golds, you can bring any kind of position to my life, glory or power, whatever. I will never give up, neither myself nor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will be always remaining faithful. I understood that this is the most important weapon against dark forces. Second, of course, very serious is that that you have to, according to my experiment, I am advising you that you have to remain always very strong in terms of your character, because when you are not lying, when you are saying truth, no matter what, no matter who is in front of you, be it police, be it the president of the country or prime minister, be it army in front of you, you have to always say the truth, only truth and nothing but truth. So if you are truthful, if you are just, if you are fair, if you are kind to others, and if you are always keeping love to people in your heart, if your heart is pure, this is the secret of success. They're afraid of this kind of people. That's why Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has always been telling us that we have to be like that, because he himself was like that, and we had to be always like that. We should never have give up. Whenever we understood what is Islam through our holy book, so we had to keep up, keep strong, no matter what. No matter whatever somebody says to us or whatever others do, we should have ignored all that and always never give up our faith and always kept straight path. And only in this case, you can win any kind of enemy, be it visible or not visible, human or not human. You can win in any situation. I promise, you can win. So that is why I'm telling you once again that be strong with your principles, okay, with your human principles, be brought to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Holy Quran, by Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, by your own parents, by your own life, because your life experience is also very important for you to understand uh, what is the difference between black and white, good or bad, what is allowed and what is not allowed, what should be done or what shouldn't be done. It should be very clear for you. These are basics of ethics. So once you know the basics of the fundamental principles of human being, you can easily use these instruments, use this weapon against such bad characters, creatures, and all on whatsoever. So these are main two uh, weapons that you should use. Like I said, first, this is your when you are very strong with your own inner faith, with inner faith in kindness, faith in truth, faith in your own principles that you brought into your life throughout the life, what has been taught to you, what has been brought by yourself into you. You have to be strong with that. And all those have to be moral principles, okay? And of course, um, you have to love yourself and as well as love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this case, you can always have help from higher powers and from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, second, like I said, this knowing exactly how to behave, what to say, and what to do. And this I have to also mention to you, like I said in my previous video, that no matter what, no matter uh, no matter what is going on around you, no matter who is telling you to do this or that things. Yeah? For example, somebody is telling you to do that you don't want. Your heart is saying, no, don't do that. Your soul is crying, say, don't do that. But you still go against it and do whatever others say to do, or whatever you think that will help you to become, for example, wealthier or known or something else. You will get something out of it. So never follow all that stuff, always ask from your soul. Your soul knows best, because your soul has been created by Allah Ta'ala and it is clean, and it is also such thing as computer motherboard. It keeps so much of memory inside, it keeps so much of knowledge that you don't even know. So you better leave everything to your soul, let your soul decide. If you speak to your mind, your mind can take you up like ego, because your ego is egoistic kind of plans, projects, or ideas can take you away from the right path. So you better communicate to your soul more often, and of course to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the only way to win. So what happened is that ultimately in 3.5, 4 years in total, this situation that we've been expecting for so long has ultimately taken place, and we are now victorious. So congratulations, we won these dark forces, and finally we have taken up the our planet into our hands. Of course, this is process, and it will take some time before all those dark forces, those creatures will be arrested, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take all the necessary actions. And while these people that they've been working through in order to destroy our life, our earth planet, because nature is also badly destroyed, ecology, ecological situation, poor, all those problems that happened because of them, all this will take time to clear up, including those people who've been following them. Some of the people themselves, dark forces, they're walking amongst us as creatures, as human beings, but they're those kind of creatures from dark forces. So you have to be careful. And whenever you face anybody on your way, always remain strong with your principles. Remember your moral and ethical principles. Always remember that. Be virtuous. And so today, since we have clearly won that, because I understood that my years of fighting with them was actually related to making my character stronger, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was watching, He was helping, He has always been every day, He has always been with me and directing me, supporting me, and I knew that that everything will end up ultimately very good. So today, I would like to announce you that ultimately this power of dark forces is over, and this is historic moment. About this moment, there will be books written, movies will be produced, and in future, the story will be moving from from you to your children and to grandchildren and so on, because this is really triumph of the higher forces of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and of those people who want to live in free, clean society where people love each other, people respect each other, people live in freedom and in independence, and of course, where people help each other, where they are so kind to each other, and where they can freely create whatever they want to create, where nobody is telling them what to do, and they know better what they want to do, and they will do that. That kind of society is coming. So for that, now we're getting complete freedom from these dark forces or whatsoever, and only our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will be with us, and we all only what we have to do is not to forget to appreciate Him for whatever good we have, including our lives, lives our loved ones. So I would like to once again congratulate you and um, wish you all the best of luck. And from now on, since this has taken place, now you will see day by day all kind of barriers on our way, all the bad news, bad situation, including bad people, and all those difficulties that we've been facing slowly, gradually will be disappearing. But like I said, if there are, like I said before, in one of my videos before, whatever situations we have unfinished, those have to be finished. Okay. So if there are some cases that still unresolved, they will have to be resolved. But in this case, it will happen very fast, and there will be no any ceremonies in terms of people who are supporting dark forces, or people who are still thinking where she would like would they like to follow their fate, or they would like to stay back, or would they like to change their mind or not, and this kind of long thinkers, long years thinkers, they will not be appreciated in our new this epoch that we are entering in. And whatever your countries have to go through, of course, they will have to go through, and they have to, whatever unfinished business is available, have to be finished. But in general, you have to know that there will be the dark forces on earth, the people, I'm talking about people now, those who are having a contract with dark forces, or who are working for them without contract, doesn't matter, whatever forms of their communication is, they that communication will be now, of course, reducing and ultimately disappear. It will also stop. That is why they will have no support. These people on earth that who've been supporting dark forces, they will not have further support. They will not have help, and ultimately, step by step, they will lose their power, and ultimately all this will completely stop. And I think that now situation with in our countries, whatever situations we have, they will be resolving very fast, and all the events will be happening very, very fast, as was described, by the way, in hadith is also there, like necklace broken, and the stories one by other will be happening. It's just like that, and you see. That is, but don't be in hurry. Most important in this in this particular condition where we are right now, it is most important to define who am I, where I'm going, what I want from this life, and what are my relations with Creator. This is most important questions that you have to ask clearly with pure heart yourself, and only then your life will be placed here or there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will decide Himself where each and every human being on this earth will be sent, further to to enjoy the life in a new epoch, new era, which is now approaching us. New Zaman, which is coming. This Zaman Akhir now taking place. This Zaman is finished. Now new Zaman is coming, and it's new in new Zaman will be new rules of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. It will be really beautiful life, wonderful life. So if you want to be there, you have to ask very clearly that question to yourself: who am I? Where am I going? Am I with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala? Am I with my Creator? Would you? Will I? Would I do something for these human beings, for people, for myself? Will I love myself? Will I love other people? Or I will live always like grouch, will create issues for others or things like that. So you have to clarify that. Okay, this is most important. And other events will take place one by other, but ultimately, life will be now in a much better position. In any case, now those the plans, conflicts, like just now recently was conflict coming up to the war, virtually coming to war, but it stopped in Iran, if you remember. The situation was also related to the weakening position of dark forces, because these dark forces, they understood that they cannot anymore participate in this serious projects, because they ultimately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking now complete power. Now they will be all lost. That is why we had to do what they would do. And I know that my fight with them and my resistance against them, that would have been not possible if, like I said, if my principles were not in place, if I was amongst those people who are very easily sellable, viable, or easily lying, or I'm sure I would have been lost, first of all. But of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help was most important. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention today. I would like to say that I will be coming, inshallah, again. So see you next time. Allah Hafiz. Have a nice time.